I'm going to go over two tickers on the 5-minute time frame and give you some price targets for Monday. First up is Amzn. We ended the day at 214.75, down 8.27%. Now, this is where we ended. To the north side takes us to one level of resistance and a potential take profit area, and that is roughly 219.53. Above that, at two standard deviations, 230.21. Wait, was that 21? Yeah. And this gap closes out at 234.02. And three standard deviations takes us to roughly 235.83. And another take profit area, which I do not anticipate we get to, that's 241.10. Now, to the south side, one level of support, 208.61, many levels of support and resistance between 2 and -2 standard deviations all day long. Turn on your Bollinger Bands, your VWAP, draw your trend lines, your Fibonacci's, whatever you like to do. 203.03 is another support level and a potential buy-in area and a potential stop loss area, as well as 197.83. And looking left, what happened here? We had earnings. So they reported $167 billion. The estimate was $162.19 billion. So, you see that? We gapped down. So that happened on Thursday. Friday, we gapped down. And then we started to go lower. And now we're just grinding sideways. So the next level of resistance, as I mentioned, right around here. And the target 234.02, and the pullback areas are down here. And looking left, you could see we hit resistance and we fell down. And here we were just grinding basically sideways. And what's that? We've got a gap down here to be aware of. Oh, and apparently I marked this out as well, down to 201. Okay, and then this one will take us to 208.87. Let me just, so that I will mark it out later. Let's get it off of the magnet. Well, let me just turn on the magnet to be a little more precise, and then there we go. And we gapped up, so that will fill to the downside whenever we do, and that will be roughly 208.90. Now my friend bought in at 175. So this is where they bought in on the daily. That's a great area, hitting resistance. Well, close enough up here, and now we've got a pullback. And I've looked at this many times in the past with the help of Trading Murat. And speaking of Murat, oh, let me just do one thing since we're here. So the middle of the trend, still this level, and then above that will take us to 251.36. The 1-year price target, 257.82. Now, speaking of Murat, he pointed out a ticker, CLS, which I have not looked at in forever. But apparently when he spoke about it, price was at $96.96. We have gaps to the south side as well that filled. What an opportunity there. Went even lower for a huge gain. This is resistance at 214.47. So on the daily, we of course are going to crack because we are at resistance. Now to the north side there, 215.94, and the 1-year price target 226.22. So to get that level, I got to go on to the weekly. Oh, it's not marked out because my lengths won't support that. So just know that that is the target. But let me give you the price target on the 5-minute. So we're at 194.74. Resistance 202.65, 205.93, 209.79, which I do not anticipate for Monday, perhaps another day. Oh, let's draw out the middle of the trend. Okay, one level of support, 188.19, 184.77, that gap forms at 183.25 and 181.35. The major pullback is at 173.82. And you can see we hit resistance, you know what's going to happen, resistance, you know what's going to happen, support, resistance. And one other thing I want to look at on the daily is that when you look at things in the big picture, obviously you can get a better idea of where price could go. And look, the RSI was getting frothy. So if you read that combined with the lines here on the linear, then you get better signals. So from here to here is a 121% return. But if you bought it down here, see if I can get that, that's a 269% return on your moolah. So thank you to Trader Murat for always pointing out tickers for me, because either I don't look at them, I haven't looked at them in a long time, or it's just fun to kind of go back and clean up my chart, which I definitely needed to do. And speaking of chart, let me delete this so I can see better. Then I'm going to get ready to go bowling. Okay, 75.70 is no longer in play, no longer a threat to our account. And oh, no, look at this. It did not touch. It looked like it did, but it did not. So we are not in the channel, not in the zone for this, but just something to be aware of. All right, that does it for me. That is a look at Amazon and CLS. And have a great trading week.